People, welcome to the private equity course where you are going to learn everything you ever wanted to know about the private equity industry and also things you didn't want to know about the private equity industry. So we have an amazing program for you. It's the first time it is designed in that manner. It's really very exciting. I'm very excited. So let me walk you through it. That's the timetable you're seeing here. So you start with a break on Monday, which is always good. Then it's chapter 1 of a book all about the vocabulary of private markets. It's a huge amount of jargon. We need to get familiar with it. Then we are going to talk about valuation. How do you value companies, especially when in the setup of a leveraged buyout, when you want to acquire a company for such a transaction, how is it valued? Then you have a long break, an hour. Then it's chapter 3 on debt. So it's all about the leveraged finance market, the debt of companies, capital structure, what are the different loans and debt packages you can use in a transaction, what is the impact on returns and risk, etc. Chapter 4 is about financial modeling. Financial modeling is a big deal in private equity, in finance in general, but also in private equity, in particular in private equity. And so we have to get familiar with modeling. After that, you have a break and you can go to bed if you are, if it's a time zone that is a bit difficult for you. Otherwise, you have an hour session where you prepare a role play that we are going to do the next day. So we're going to talk about that role play, the rules of the game, and you're going to prepare in teams. And then if you went to bed and then you have a lark session in the morning at 11 on Tuesday that is doing the exact same thing. And once you are ready for this role play, you need to just hold on a little bit. We have a guest speaker called Chris coming at 12:30. Chris is going to talk to us about how it is to manage a company under private equity sponsorship. He's a serial CEO. He has worked also as a CEO of publicly listed companies, but mainly of private equity owned companies, with Carlyle, with Permira, etc. And hopefully we can have his sessions as more Q&A, but otherwise he would just tell you a bit about his experience. But if you could prepare that by reading like the chapter 4 of the book, and bringing questions for him, that would be great. And we will do a little bit of that in the owl and lark session. We will prepare a bit for his talk so that you have more questions ready. Then is the role play. The role play is done on Zoom. I've done that before. It works very well. And what we do then is that we do 4 rounds of negotiations. One team is a bank, one team is a fund manager. They're negotiating a debt package. And they have 15 minutes to try to close a deal. Basically impossible. You manage to do that the first time around. At the 4th round, hopefully some teams will have managed to close a deal. And the best deals and those who have closed the deal may earn a cash prize. So you heard that right. You can earn cash while doing the private equity course. It's not completely signed yet, that deal, with a cash sponsor, but we are close to signing, so should work out. Either way, what happens next is that you don't have quite a break. So there is an hour during which you can have coffee, but you can also at the same time watch some videos of professionals doing the exact same role play that you've just done. So basically you did this exercise in class based on a case study I wrote, but I also asked professionals to do that as well. And so you can, after you've done this exercise and struggled and found a solution, you can see professionals doing it in a very realistic setting. And then after you watch these videos of professionals doing it, the professionals will actually be there and you can have Q&As with them about the role play or more generally about what they work on. James is the head of leverage finance for Lloyd's. He knows everything about the debt markets, but in particular from the bank side. And Orla and Nicole are from the private debt side, the private funds that are raised to provide debt. This is a booming industry. It has grown at the speed of light over the last 10 years. Didn't exist really 10, 12 years ago or not much. And it is a big deal today. And they will be that side of the market again, you have Q&A there with them. Short break, and then we go back to the book chapter 8 and 9, talking about growth investing, which is basically private equity in the most of the developing world, and impact investing. And then again, short break in the hour session, or for other people for the log session. What we're going to do there is prepare a case study on impact investing. Now, that case study I'm very excited about. I'm currently writing it, so yes, I haven't technically written it yet, but it should be ready. I will be ready. And it's an amazing case. It's actually particularly interesting for you guys because this is an alumni from the EMBA program. So this person was exactly in your shoes 5 years ago. He was taking a private equity elective, just like you do as an EMBA student. And he's running the real estate portfolio of the city of New York, something like $10 billion worth of real estate, and where he gives grants to projects that will have a social impact for the city. He was the one involved with like the discussions with Amazon when they wanted to implement, to have something on Long Island, and so on and so forth. So he is amazing, and I'm writing a case about one of the transactions where you can see how being very financially astute enables you to have a bigger social impact on for the project and for the city of New York here. So after you have prepared that case, Eric will come for Q&A session, an hour. After that, we go back to the book and talk about fund structures, how you structure funds to raise money, what kind of fee structures are out there, how do they work, what you need to be aware of. After that, we talk about performance evaluation, benchmarking of private equity funds, how do they perform, and so on. And then there is a guest to be confirmed as well, but Mary, based in Boston, is a specialist. Like, she's a world star on the question of interest alignments between fund managers and investors. And I hope she would join. Otherwise, I have some other pretty strong speakers for that slot. And she'll talk about that. Then again, our session, log session, to prepare another role play and to look at the rules of the game together, etc. And that role play this time will be around limited partnership agreements, which is the contract between general partners, i.e. the fund managers and the investors. And one team is a fund manager, another team is the investor, and you guys negotiate a contract around a fund being raised, which and it's a case study that I've written. And so you do that. It's very much like the debt role play. Same thing, 4 times, 15 minutes in a row. Nearly impossible to close anything on the first time, but maybe by the 4th time you do it, you may have a chance. And then you can watch some videos again about professionals doing it. You have a debrief by Erin, our co-teacher, and myself on that role play. And after that, we have as guest speakers lawyers who are writing this agreement. So if you are raising money, you have to go with lawyers to write this contract. They're like very long, 200 pages, and it's pretty dense things. And we are very lucky to have at least 3 people here that would join these lawyers for Q&A sessions. They are really outstanding. And you can ask all the questions about fund structurings, legal, etc., all the role play, because they are also very familiar with it, as you wish. And then the last guest speaker of the course will be Jan. Jan has an incredible story. I invited him for the first time 4 years ago in my course because I thought he was an amazing and inspiring speaker. But back then he was just a guy working at a Canadian pension fund. He was very good, but it was not that special. And I invited him nonetheless because I found him very inspiring and very knowledgeable. And a few months later he raised his own fund, he created his own company. And 3 years later he's raising his fund number 4, and I think he's on to $4 billion. It's an incredible success story, and so he was indeed inspiring and knowledgeable, and I was not the only one to think that, obviously. And so he's specialist of secondary markets in private equity, also a very fast growing market, very fast evolving as well. And again, I hope it will be more for Q&A session, but Jan has also a lecture prepared there. And then we have this break, and again the hour and the log session, where we debrief the entire course. So it's your chance to have a Q&A with Erin and I, and because we have this Al and Lark setup, then we are in a small group, and so you have a lot of airtime, direct airtime with Erin and myself to talk about anything you'd be interested in. And don't forget, there's tons of resources on the course website. You have all these pre-readings, etc., and you have a book. You have also a dictionary, which I've just released, that will may be helpful for all the vocabulary related to private markets. It's also a little bit funny. And you have the website Private Equity Laid Bare, well, plaidbare.com, where you have all kinds of videos and material and resources to know more in private equity. Okay, so I'm really excited. I think it's really awesome. I hope you will agree. And I'm very excited to start the course and to see you early March and then later. Take care.